Hey, welcome back to the channel. I am really glad you're here because today I'm back at Sarah's farm and they are moving right along, getting ready for her horses here. They are setting fence posts and a lot of them. But what's really fun is that there are two different machines here today. They've got a skid steer with a post pounder on it and a Kubota MX series tractor with a 3-point hitch mounted post driver. Two different processes, similar enough that they're both pounding posts, so no augers, no tamping the dirt, backfilling, they're just driving the post right in. But we get to see both machines working today. So Team Tractor is using the 3-point hitch mounted post driver, and this process is, I don't want to say it's slower, it's a little more methodical. They're taking a lot of time to plumb the post, to set it exactly where it needs to go, and then they're driving it down. Team Skid Steer, there's no real way to hold the post other than to hold it by hand, so they're leveling the post, holding it, and then the skid steer is driving it down. But it can walk a little bit, so that one takes a little bit more, I guess, attention, but it's way faster. Now I need to state a disclaimer here. First of all, these guys are all my cousins and relatives, and Team Skid Steer really doesn't have experience doing this. So what you're seeing, there might be a better way to do it, but they're doing a great job, I have to say. Now the skid steer has a cup-shaped driver that goes over the top of the posts and I guess is designed to kind of hold the post in place. But what happens with that is it kind of buggers up the top of the fence post. So Team Skid Steer is leaving the posts longer than they need to be, and then they're going to cut them off at the top. Team Tractor has a different type setup that doesn't seem to damage the top of the posts, so they're driving the posts exactly to the depth that they need. Now Tom over here owns the Kubota MX5400 with the post driver, and he admits that it is not as fast as the skid steer, but his idea is to make up for it with efficiency. So what they're doing is they're laying out all their posts. They use a little clamshell digger and mark each post by digging a little 1 or 2 inch hole. So they set the post right in those holes, and that gives them the measurement they need, and then they level it and plumb it.
You're a little off to the right.
Maybe my hole's off. Yeah.
Good.
Is that it?
I think so.
Up.
So Tom owns this machine, so he's got the experience. But he's letting Sarah run with it.
The wood pipe out.
What about the post, right? So this post is let it go. Now hit it. You didn't have to hold that probably.
We just did too many.
So Team Tractor is taking an approach of adjusting the post as they go, and because it's a little slower, they're able to pound it in a couple of times, check the plumb, adjust it just a little bit. I suppose until you get to be a foot or so deep. Once you're committed, you're probably done at that point, but they're able to move it slightly right or left, back or forth as they're driving it and get that post really straight. And you can see here the tractor driver does a really nice job and does not damage the tops of the posts. So they are set, no cutting required. They're at the right depth and ready for boards. So, you know, kind of an advantage of the 3-point driver versus the skid steer driver. The skid steer really has minimal controls as far as leveling the posts. It's really up to the helpers, I guess you'd say, to get the post plumb and straight. And they have to kind of hold it in place while the skid steer operator pounds it in place. And of course, as it goes down, that tends to maybe walk back and forth a little bit. So there's more adjustment needed by the skid steer operator in the machine itself. Whereas the tractor controls are in the back. They've got rear hydraulics, so they can adjust the angle back and forth a little bit. They can tilt it forward and back, right and left. So with those remotes and those hydraulics, they can kind of finagle it back and forth and keep it straight that way. So two very different processes and similar results. I mean, you get the post pounded in the ground. That's the idea. Now you might think these posts should be sharpened like a pencil point to drive into the ground, but that's not the case. You actually want to drive them in blunt, because if they are sharpened, they could walk a little bit if they hit a rock or a root. But when they're blunt like this, they drive straight down. They'll cut through a root. I don't know what happens with big rocks. We don't really have them here. I mean, there's gravel underneath, but I guess enough that they can either shift the rock or break them. But we don't have boulders or anything like that to deal with here. So being a blunt end, it drives it in straight, and it also keeps the post super tight. You can see here how the cup on the skid steer did not fit completely over the post. This is like a 6 or 7 inch post, and the cup doesn't fit over it. So it split the post, made kind of a mess there. So I don't like that too much, but I don't know if there's a better way to do that. Maybe there are different heads you can put on for different size posts. So it does mess it up a little bit, but again, if they cut it off down here, it should be just fine. I'm actually looking forward to your comments from experienced fence people or post drivers to let us know what we're doing right here, what we're doing wrong here. The one thing that we're doing right is that Sarah's saving a ton of money by doing this herself with friends and family. So it may not be perfect, although it looks really good. Maybe it is perfect, I don't know. But they're doing it, and that is a win, because this is a big project. She's fencing in probably, maybe it's a 5-acre area here with paddocks and different lines of posts. So it's a lot. I don't know how many posts exactly, but it's a lot. Over here at Team Skid Steer, they are using a board to space the posts, and then they're using a string up top to guide where it's going to go in line like that. Got two Joes here, Joe on the skid steer, Joe on the post. And Lori is plumbing, spacing, leveling. all that stuff. So it's good to have many hands on this project, even though you have the equipment, which is great, but you still need eyes and hands. Well, Team Skid Steer is definitely fast, so I think either one of these is a good option, but I do like how fast that is. Well, here's my takeaway. I like how Team Tractor took the time to lay out and prepare all their post placement before they started driving posts. Team Skid Steer is using the measuring stick to space the posts, which is great. They're using the string to keep them plumb, and of course they're both using a level because you have to use that to really get the accurate plumb line for those. Team Skid Steer, no doubt that thing is amazing how fast it is, but again, it does tend to bugger up the top of the post. I don't know if there's a bigger cup, maybe a deeper cup that would prevent that, but it does tear up the top of the fence post. I don't like that about it, but I feel like there's probably a workaround for that. I doubt that professional fence installers are going around and having to trim off all the posts. I think there's got to be something that we're missing on this one. Team Tractor, that rear mounted post driver is fantastic. Now, one reason that this might be better is because more people have tractors than skid steers. So this is an attachment you can get for your tractor, and for those of us who have tractors with rear remotes, that's a great option. Skid steer, you're either going to rent it or borrow one or buy one, and that's pretty expensive. So the advantage of the skid steer is that it's fast, but it's also not a common tool. Now, I don't think either one of these are a one-person operation, but I do think you'd have more of a chance of doing this yourself with the tractor and the rear-mounted post driver. Once you get the tractor in position, you can see he's not in the machine. They're operating it all from the back end. There are minor adjustments you can make with the hydraulics. So I think one person could do this with the tractor, although it's definitely helpful to have somebody in the tractor and somebody on the back end there. The skid steer, however, the operator of the skid steer is actually doing all the driving of the post. So I can't see how one person could do this. You'd have to hold the post up and then drive it from inside the skid steer. So I think that's at least a two-person operation, whereas the tractor could be done with one, but I think either one really would be best with at least two people. Well, that was fun to get to see two different types of post drivers in use. Which one would you choose? Hey, thanks for being here today. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please click that like button. If you like this type of content and you've not yet subscribed on YouTube or followed on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, I invite you to join me. Thanks for watching, and as always, I look forward to seeing you next time.